If you'd told me 6 months ago I'd end up fighting a miniature Cold War with a suburban HOA president and her goon squad, I probably would have laughed in your face. Or maybe just rolled my eyes and gone back to mowing my not quite 3-inch grass. But here we are. And honestly, let's just say there's nothing like hearing a teenager break into your house at midnight to make you rethink the whole peaceful suburb thing. Let me paint the scene. It was one of those nights where even the quiet has weight. The only sounds were Tina's soft breathing beside me, the clock glowing an ugly 12:17, and somewhere in the house a floorboard let out this slow, aching sigh. Not a bang, not a crash, just a whisper, but enough to set off every alarm in my head. And if you're a parent, you get it, some instinct kicks in. It's not panic. It's just this cold, tight knot, and your body starts moving before your brain really catches up. I slid out of bed. Years of not wanting to wake Max had basically turned me into a ghost at home. The hallway was full of blue-gray moonlight and shadows. You checked Max's door closed. Good. But downstairs, I caught that telltale glow someone with a phone moving through my living room. I wish I could tell you I charged down there like an action hero, but it wasn't like that. It was quiet, careful, the kind of careful that comes from loving something so much you'll do anything to keep it safe. At the bottom of the stairs, I saw him, just a kid, a hoodie pulled over his head, turning my son's video game console over in his hands like he was thinking about pawning it or just smashing it for fun. I stepped up, grabbed his shoulder. He jumped, dropped the console on the couch, phone skittering across the floor. And that's when I saw his face. Kyle Carson, lives 3 houses down, 14, same age as Max. Only, there's nothing scared about him. Not in that moment. Just pure annoyance. Like I was the one trespassing. He looked me dead in the eye, all swagger, and snapped, "My mom runs the HOA. I can do whatever I want." I know what kid says that. The worst part, it wasn't a bluff. Not to him. He really believed it. I kept my voice low, but I could feel my hands wanting to shake him. "You think that means you can break into people's houses?" He sneered, talking about bylaws and logging violations and my mama's notes on you. He was so cocksure, I almost laughed almost. But then, upstairs, I heard a floorboard creak. Max. My body moved before my brain caught up, just in case Kyle made a run for it. I told Tina to call 911, and that's when the mask dropped. Kyle's bravado just melted into this real, naked fear. "Don't. My mom will kill me." Did I feel bad for him? For a second? Yeah, maybe. He was a kid. But he was a kid who broke into my house and was threatening my family. I held him until the police showed up, big blue and red lights, turning my quiet living room into a crime scene. The officers took him, cuffed and crying. I should have felt safe. Instead, I just felt cold. Something told me this wasn't over. And I was right. You ever try to explain why your friend broke into our house last night to your own kid over breakfast? Max just stared at his cereal, his eyes shadowed. He wanted to know why. I didn't have a good answer, so I gave him the one parents always do. "Some people just make bad choices, buddy." It didn't help. I spent that day in a haze of forms and photos, documenting every little thing just in case. Details matter. A habit from my old job. I didn't realize then just how much that habit was about to save me. Max came home different. Shoulders down, face pale, a smudge of dirt on his cheek. I asked what happened, but he just sat there until Tina nudged him, gentle as always. The truth came spilling out. Kyle at the bus stop, shoving him, calling him a snitch, sending threats all day. "My mom owns this street. You're done." His friends laughing, filming. Max just wanted to get on the bus and disappear. It's a special kind of anger. Hearing your kid describe that anger that doesn't shout just burns. Tina, though, she's a force. While I was fuming, she was gathering evidence, screenshotting everything, saving every threat, backing up the files. She made a folder. Evidence, Carson. No drama, no tears, just action. That's her way. We called the police. Again, filed another report. But I knew this was more than just a bratty kid. This was Karen Carson, our HOA president, clipboard queen of Mapler's Court. She ruled by fear, making people too scared to even speak up when things were wrong. That's real power in a place like this. The kind of power that grows when good people just keep their heads down. But not us. Not anymore. The next morning, a knock at the door. No, not a knock, a siege. I looked through the ring cam. Karen herself, immaculate, a clipboard in hand, wearing a smile that could cut glass. She never mentioned her son, never brought up the break-in. Instead, she started rattling off violations. Your grass is 3¼ inches high. Your trash cans were visible at 7:03 a.m. Unapproved porch light $1,000 fine. It was so absurd I almost laughed. But she meant every word. It was a power move. You fight me, I'll ruin you with paper cuts. But I wasn't playing her game. I just nodded, thanked her for the paperwork. Her face twisted, not sure what to do with that. After she left, Tina and I turned our house into command central. We pulled out the HOA's covenant's dusty, old binder nobody reads. Guess what? No rule about grass height. No 3-inch limit. The trash can rule had been changed years ago. City pickup got later. So 8 a.m. was the real deadline, not 7. The porch light? No list of approved fixtures and no rule against swapping a bulb. Every fine was bogus. And the security team Karen kept hinting about? Turns out it was her brother-in-law, Frank ex-con, hothead, running a shell company out of a P.O. box. The deeper Tina dug, the dirtier it got. Other shell companies, all relatives, all draining HOA fund for fake landscaping, pool maintenance, consulting fees. Karen wasn't just petty, she was robbing everyone blind. But the best part? We weren't alone. The neighbors, people like old Mrs. Gable, Mr. Chun, even Tommy across the street with his obsession over flowers, they'd all been hit. Fined for ramps, basketball hoops, a mailbox painted the wrong shade of white. But they'd always paid, too afraid to push back. Not this time. We gathered evidence videos, screenshots, neighbor testimonies. But I needed more. And then, just as I was starting to wonder how far this could really go, I found the mail. My own letter, obviously opened and resealed. I was mad, but honestly, also impressed. It's one thing to fine someone for grass. It's another to tamper with federal mail. So yeah, I set a trap. Invisible UV paint on a decoy lawyer letter. Wildlife cam hidden in a bush. Kyle couldn't resist. The video showed him taking the bait, opening my mailbox, stealing the letter, putting it back. Under the blacklight, his thumbprint glowed bright green. Slam dunk. With that, I took everything to the cops. This time, not just the regular patrol property crimes, detectives, the whole deal. And this detective, big guy, tired but sharp, he took one look at my files, my videos, and just said, "We're going to need to see this live." He gave me his direct line. "Don't call 911. Call me. Stall them at the door. We'll be waiting." Sure enough, 2 nights later, Frank Carson showed up with a buddy, pounding on my door, flashing badges they printed themselves. "Mandatory nighttime inspection," they said. Right? I kept the door locked. Tina streamed everything straight to the detective's phone. When Frank shoved the door and pushed me, I knew he had them. And then sirens. Real ones. Police cars. Unmarked detectives. It was a beautiful mess. Frank and his friend? Cuffed on my lawn. Karen came storming out in her robe, screaming about her rights, and the detective just stared at her like she was a noisy squirrel. Then, in the middle of her meltdown, the cops serve a warrant in Kyle, her own son, for federal mail tampering. And, just to put a bow on it, Child Protective Services arrived. The Queen's castle was burning, right in front of all her loyal subjects. But the fight wasn't over yet. 2 days later, the HOA meeting was standing room only. Karen tried to spin it bad luck, misunderstandings, the usual. But nobody was buying it. I got up, plugged in the projector, and showed every clip: Kyle breaking in, Frank assaulting me, the mailbox theft, the bullying at the bus stop. Neighbors started speaking up, story after story of petty tyranny, fake fines, threats. Karen tried to bang her gavel, but it was just with hitting a table now. Nobody was scared anymore. She was voted out. The board launched a forensic audit, and a new president, someone actually sane, brought in the authorities. Karen's web of shell companies unraveled fast. Embezzlement, fraud, grand larceny. The works. She pled out, but lost everything: her job, her house, her reputation, even her freedom. Our street changed. The bylaw bonfire was a real thing, neighbors cheering as her petty rules went up in smoke. Max found his laugh again, playing hockey with friends in the street, no one counting inches. Tina and I sat on the porch swing, breathing real, deep breaths for the first time in months. That's all we ever wanted. A home you don't have to defend, just live in. You know, looking back, I get it now. You don't win these wars with shouting, or even with fists. You win by being relentless, by sticking to the truth, by refusing to let the bullies rewrite the rules. It was never about revenge. It was about reclaiming our peace. And, yeah, sometimes karma needs a little push. So, let me ask you, where's the line for you? What would you do? How far would you go to protect your family when the rules turn into weapons? Is it ever okay to fight fire with fire? Or do you risk becoming the thing you're standing up against? I'd love to hear what you think. Share your story, or just tell me, would you stand your ground, or let the storm pass and hope it never comes back? Either way, just remember, sometimes the quiet victory is the best one. The kind where you can finally sit on your porch, watch your kid play in the sun, and know, deep down, you did right by your own. And that's more than enough.
Cảm ơn tất cả các bạn đã xem video.